go to town where I'm from, where everybody's southern raised, just as good as they come. Backwoods and mossy oak and mud holes, and back then we only ate what the farm grow. Man, I miss some days how we played on them dirt roads, and out of towners came with respect, cause they know we all close. Yeah, southern pride, toting gun folks. Welcome to my city, I-75 South, just north of Live Oak.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods when they ride. This is small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, Title Town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey.
It's nothing like our dirt roads, you can bet that, son. I'm from a city, by any means, we gon' protect our guns. I hang with the rednecks and geeks. We get up in big trucks in the backwoods like Indians and teepees. This the home of the mighty, mighty Vikings. Wildcats, blazing, title town license. Winners, pretty girls with country grammar. When I say about Austin, Georgia, I ain't talking about Atlanta. This a different type of city, where the woods are pretty, but get gritty. You hear me? What you know about that 229? You can find us on the Florida, Georgia line, where I reside.
I'm from a city called Austin, Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods when we ride. This is small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, Title Town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey. Georgia, right on the border of Florida. I was raised on these dirt roads, mud tires, spin backwoods when we ride. This is small town living, yeah. Now welcome to my city, Title Town, 229, turn it up so they can hear it loud. We get it up with big trucks and heavy G's, pretty girls with moonshine and whiskey.
What's up, Lowndes County? Welcome to the Viking Nation Live. It's our weekly celebration of the One Lowndes community. I'm your host, Larry Godwin. Joining me tonight are the super fan panel of Chase Garnto and Armand Rashad Williams. So really, I am looking forward to their throwdown in Titletown tonight when it comes to Florida State University and our mighty Georgia Bulldogs. It's going to be a fun conversation. It really is. So you might be asking, why are we talking Georgia football? Because it's football and it's Georgia football. Do we really need a reason? So we're going to get that cranked up a little bit tonight, talking about a college football world right now that we're entering into the playoff season and that kind of stuff. So we're going to have a lot of fun with those two talking. I don't want to say duking it out, but they're going to be duking it out. They really are. So I'm looking forward. Y'all, you just wait. Armand has come prepared. He's got his Georgia jersey on. He's ready to go. I see Coach Cornbread eating some cornbread in the background. That dude cracks me up. So welcome to our show, guys. We're going to have fun tonight. As we enter in the Thanksgiving season, we're going to kind of tone down the rhetoric a little bit, get our Thanksgiving mood on, if you will. So before we get cranked up tonight, let's go ahead and thank our sponsors for making all this possible. First of all, out of the gate, we want to thank Pepsi of Valdosta for producing and distributing some all-time favorites. You see what listen, I gotta do this. I gotta show Pepsi some love. Check this out. I'm not kidding around when I'm saying this is like the drink of choice. Now, I'm not going to look at this. Look at this. Coach Cornbread, he's got his Mountain Dew as well. Check that out. Check that out. So thank you so much to the Pepsi guys of Valdosta for producing and distributing Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Rockstar, Mountain Dew Energy, and Spark. So, guys, go ahead and pick your favorite beverage. Just make sure it's a Pepsi product. So thank you so much to Pepsi of Valdosta. Thank you so much to Kyle Conger. I had to talk to him several times this week. Market's been up, market's been down. About to pull my hair out. Hey, Kyle, I need you to talk me off the ledge. All right, Larry, just calm down. Just calm down. So I don't know if you have a guy that you seek out for good financial advice or at least to bounce ideas off of. If you don't have somebody that you enjoy working with, right? Give Kyle a call. Why not? It's worth a free phone call, right? Kyle Conger with White Oak Investment. You can reach out to him at 229-850-8848. Thank you so much to Tim Neesmith. I've talked to Tim a couple times this week, texted him back and forth. He's got a company called A Shade of Perfection where he has mastered the art. I'm talking mastered the art of customizing these shades and blinds. So if you want him to apply his expertise to make your home beautiful, or at least your window treatments beautiful with custom shades and blinds, give Timmy a call at 229-251-3479, or you can reach him at his website, ashadeofperfection.com. And if you are suffering from migraines or any type of low back pain, that kind of stuff, really any type of pain at all, especially when you enter in the holiday season, sometimes it can be stressful for a lot of people, right? If you are suffering from that, you want to get some pain relief, give these guys a call at the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. You can reach them at 229-333-9838. They are your certified headache medicine specialists. Give Josh Batson and Justin Haskin a call because they offer a variety of migraine and back pain treatments. Thank you so much to the guys and gals at the Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta. We also want to thank this guy, Chandler Cootie. He's growing by leaps and bounds. Listen, just a couple of days ago, he posted on Facebook that his company is growing. He's hiring, I think, unless he's filled it in the last couple of days, he's looking for another pool cleaning technician. So if you have an interest in that, or if you just want to hire him to come service your pool, give Chandler a call at AquaWorks Pool Company. That's Chandler Cootie, 229-415-0752. And we want to thank these guys, Tony Green and Trey Hatcher with Imperial Auto Sales. They've got two fantastic locations, one on North Ashley Street and the other at 1600 Bay Tree Road here in beautiful Valdosta. So if you guys have a question about a car, you're in the market for a car, you want to go ahead and you're thinking about getting something before the interest rates go even higher, you want to know what kind of cars that you can afford, give these guys a call, Imperial Auto Sales. They'll surely help you out. And then finally, Jason Castleberry with Case Tree Services. You might have some trees that need to come down. Maybe one of them's still leaning from the hurricane that we had a couple months ago. Maybe you just need to have some trees cut down because they're diseased or whatever the case might be. If you have a need for that service, give Jason a call at Case Tree Services. They specialize in tree cutting and removal. And you can reach them at 229-740-9626. Mention this ad and you can get free stump grinding with any tree removal. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Steve Nichols. Let's go ahead and go to the White Oak Investment comment line. Steve Nichols says, we ain't toning down no rhetoric if I can help it. Steve, you are the master of ratcheting up the racket. So the rhetoric. So I have no doubt. But you know what? The Mountain Dew has got me jacked up tonight. So I don't know if I can calm down even if I tried. Greg Maddox says, Stick does great work. He absolutely does. He also says Mountain Dew is my morning coffee. You know, Greg, everybody's got a routine in the morning, right? My routine is I turn on Steve Nichols' show, Freedom with Steve Nichols. Pretty brain stimulating show, really good show the last couple of days. So then I got Steve playing in the background. Then I will go make a cup of coffee and get my Diet Mountain Dew. So I will chase it back and forth. I'll take a sip of Mountain Dew. chase it with some coffee and vice versa. And so anyway, by the end of Steve's show from 6 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on Facebook and Twitch and his website, freedomnetworks.com, man, I am completely wired and ready to go right out of the gate. So Linda Mobley says, hello, on my way back from the Bahamas. You're coming in loud and clear. Fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoyed your time down in the Bahamas, Linda. I went to the Bahamas once, to the big, I can't remember what it was called, so long ago. We went on a cruise down there and to the Bahamas and took an excursion out to the island, something like that. I can't remember. But what I do remember is we all had a great time. Although I did get sick the first night out at sea. And so I had to calm down, had to get one of those motion sickness patches or pills or whatever they gave me at the time. And so there you go. Steve Nichols says grandkid. So after I took that, I got cleared up and enjoyed the rest of the time. But man, oh man, that first night on the sea, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to die. It was so bad. So anyway, but you guys didn't tune in tonight to hear me rambling about my excursion down to the Bahamas or even Linda Mobley's excursion down to the Bahamas. We tuned in to talk about Lowndes football, what's going on around the state, and the sports world in general, including this great debate that's coming up between Chase Garnto and Amon Rashad. So anyway, there's a couple things that's coming up. We're not going to do a giveaway tonight. We're probably not going to do a giveaway for the rest of the year, just because it's more than just pushing a button and showing who wins on the screen, right? It's scheduling and arranging for pickup and delivery, that kind of stuff. There's still 2 people that I owe like 4 shirts to that I haven't been able to connect with. I ran into Steve Browning coming out of Circle K the other day, and he walked up. We'd never met, and he walked up and introduced himself. And after we got the niceties out of the way, Steve says, "So you got my shirts with you?" It's like, man, I'm sorry, but I don't have them in the car. So anyway, Steve's got an interesting question. He says, who gets the A&M job? Well, so we'll get to all those as the show progresses. Travis Hart says, LG, if you're going to have both Mountain Dew and coffee, just mix them together in the same cup. No, man, I just can't do that. That just tastes nasty. I would imagine. I've never done. But you know what? I have mixed Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew, and Mountain Dew Zero with orange juice. Straight up orange juice, pulp free, doesn't matter. It tastes fantastic. So if you're an orange juice drinker and you want a little bit of kick to it, stir it up with some Mountain Dew. You'll get charged up. Okay, let's go ahead and get on with the show. The good news, 275 days until Lowndes kicks off. And, you know, I posted something about, hey, is it football season yet? Earlier today, and some of my hecklers out there, Jason Anderson leading the way. It's like, well, dude, there's still football going around us. There's still football for just about every other team around us except Lowndes. And he was kind of trying to knock me off my perch a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Man, he can't rain on my parade because there's only 275 days left until Lowndes kickoff. I choose to look at it as the cup is half full. And so, anyway, Casey Harrell says, yeah, I love Diet Dew and OJ. Fantastic, Casey. You and I, we're cut from the same cloth. All right, so 275 days left until kickoff. We kind of touched on this last week. Let me go ahead and bring my super fan panel onto the screen. Armand, Georgia man, Rashad, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So I had to wake up and be awesome this morning. Actually got real coffee.
I like your title. They're back like I never left. Absolutely. Yep. And the newcomer, I'm going to describe Coach Cornbread here, our friend Chase Garnto, as the newcomer, because it's like over the last decade or so, Florida State has not even had a football team. So I think they're just, you know, trying out this football thing again, that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's Chase, I hope your screen isn't frozen. There you go. Your screen might be frozen. You might have, man, your Wi-Fi is coming in and out, so you might have to disconnect and reconnect,
Are we good?
or pour some Mountain Dew on that connection or something.
Something.
Yeah, we're not hearing you, Chase. So you might have to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're spotty in and out. All right, so as we wait for him to come back, Armand, it's the coaching carousel silly season.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean by that. You know, the high school football season isn't even over yet. We just had the first round of the playoffs. But some teams out there, some programs want to get the jump on firing their coach and starting their search for their next coach. Now, in some of these cases, some of these coaches have resigned, some of them have retired. So I should not characterize it as all these programs fired their coach, but all these programs are now looking for new head coaches. Now, some of you are going to recognize, some of them you're not. Like, for example, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's like over a dozen teams, programs already that's looking for new head coaches. Now, why are we covering this? Because when one of these programs hires, they usually basically poach other coaches from other programs, right? Whether it's a head coach or assistant coach. So when one program hires, it usually creates a domino effect. So already we've got 12 programs, and by the time the season completely wraps up, we'll probably have 3 to 4 dozen programs across the state, if not more, looking for new head coaches. And so this time of year, you start to see the coaching carousel, the shuffling that starts to happen, right? So you have Banks County, Cherokee, Coosa, Fayette County, Greenbrier, Kings Ridge Christian, Midtown, Pickens, Riverwood, Tattnall County, which is kind of close to us. Tiff County, is parting ways with Noel Dean. Turner County and Union Grove. So two schools that are fairly close to our area. And the closest one that affects us the most is obviously Tiff County in the new Region 1-6A next year, right?
Yeah, and that's like, I think a lot of times, like Tiff County right now is the biggest job out there. So
that's right.
You'll probably see teams wait to see who Tiff County hires.
That's right.
Before they go and make their moves. So in Tiff County, it's crazy because they got a nice size population. And they just got to get the right guy in there, to turn their program around. But you got to give them more than a year.
Well, they gave, I think Noel Dean was there 3 years. I think he was there for 3 years.
Yeah, but nobody wants to play in that ancient offense. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Cornbread, Chase, he's talking about when he first got on the scene, they did try to use that split back, not even the split back veer. It was a shotgun veer, something like that. It was an odd weird looking, but basically a run heavy type of offense that just got shut down completely, and just did not do well the 3 years that he was there. And so he decided to, I guess, resign. He said that he's not pursuing his contract renewal, which I guess is the same thing as saying I resign.
Yeah.
But he had an interesting interview with Phil Jones from ITG Next Georgia a couple of weeks ago, where it might have been last week, where that dude sounds ticked off. He really did. I mean, he was on the verge. I think I was talking to Phil about it. I said, man, I think if you would have pushed him a little bit, he would have just spilled all the tea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What did they go this year? Like, 1-9?
Well, they won a couple more games then. I can't remember the exact record. I think they either won 2 or 3 games, something like that. But that was a pattern over the 3 years. And before then, who was the head coach before then? Was it Ashley Anders? I think it was Ashley Anders, wasn't it?
Possibly.
Yeah, and Ashley is a really good coach, and he couldn't get it done there. And the coach before him, who was the coach before? Maybe it been John Reed. John Reed started to get things turned around there, but really could not get his administration and community to cooperate with him. So he leaves and goes up to Rome, and really is doing really, really good things with Rome now. So I don't really understand from the outside looking in what's going on with Tiff County. Why can't they seem to get it together? Are they just Travis Hart helps us out. He says they went 2-8. Thank you, Travis.
2-8, and then 6-5 and 21. They were 1-9 last year and 2-8. So You got to win.
You got to win. That's basically the bottom line, right? Now, you know, I was listening to that interview that he had with Phil last week, and he really made it a point to talk about the reason he went to Tift County was he bought into Adam Hathaway's how do you say it? He bought into Adam Hathaway's vision, right? And Adam Hathaway is the former superintendent that just resigned there for a few weeks ago. And so, and I'm thinking, man, that sounds great. But what was that vision? I don't think they ever shared the vision with the community. So the community never really bought in to what that vision was.
I think that seems to be a reoccurring theme no matter where you go.
Well, you know, yes and no. Most head coaches really really don't go out of their way. Most head coaches really don't go, well, I don't know what y'all are doing.
I know what Rashad's laughing about.
You guys need to behave.
We
need to behave. I'm trying to make listen. Y'all can't be. I'm gonna put y'all in the penalty box. So I can finish my point. You're tickling me, man. Armand, he's kind of new to the show, already being introduced to the penalty box. So, all right. You guys got it together now? You got it together?
Yeah. It was worth it. It was worth it.
All right, so
penalty box.
Yeah, most coaches, it doesn't really matter whether it's youth, high school, college. You know, NFL is really not appropriate for this discussion because they do their own thing. They're professionals. But most head coaches don't come in and share their vision with the community. They do with the team, I'm assuming, right? They do with their administration. But I think there's an important component that's missing. And I think most head coaches really miss a great opportunity. And this is not condemning any head coach. I just think they're missing a great opportunity to connect with their community. Yes, you could say, and rightfully so, that if you just win, then the community really doesn't care what you do. But what happens when you don't win? Then they start demanding answers, right? And so I always try to be proactive and transparent as possible. That's probably my unofficial motto is be transparent as much as you possibly can. And so when you get people to buy into your program, that's when the checkbooks really open. That's when the grace is really extended in tough times, right? And so I think a lot of head coaches really miss a key opportunity, especially when they're brand new to community, right? And they're kind of like in a honeymoon grace period, right? And so anyway, I wish more head coaches would be more transparent and share their vision with the community, because most people are just wanting to belong, wanting to be a part of that system, that program, and they'll do whatever they can to help, right? But they just need to be information just needs to be shared more, I guess. And you see that it happened at Tift County, and he didn't really come out and say it, but what he was saying up there in that interview was basically that, you got the head coach and the superintendent with this great vision, but no one beyond their circle knows about it. And it's like, man, oh man. And I preach all the time especially in high school football, at the high school level, that you need 4 things to make a recurring, sustainable, winning program. Not necessarily a championship program, because you're not always going to win championships. But if you want to have a sustained, winning, top-tier program, you need to have 4 things in place every single year. One is administration support. Your administration has got to be sold out, all in. We didn't see that in Tift County. They were fighting with each other. The superintendent and the principal of the high school were going at it, right? That's not all in mentality.
In public.
That's right. You've got to have great coaching. Well, let me back up. You don't even have to have great coaching. You have to have good coaching, right? You have to have good coachable athletes. You don't have to have great athletes to win at a high level, but you do have to have coachable athletes. And then you have to have all in buy-in from your community. You have those 4 pillars in place on a constant basis, man, your program is always going to be at the top. And if you take a look at the top tier programs, you see all 4 things of those things in place. Colquitt County, Camden County, Valdosta to some extent, although the question mark's still out there. The jury's still out there. Lowndes for the last 2 decades has had that, right? You've got other programs. You have Buford with that. You have now you have Cook County with that, right? Cook County was known as a good to mediocre team, kind of in there in the middle. Byron Slack gets up there. Administration buys right in. They love him up there. He's a good coach. He's got good coachable athletes. And now, because of what they're doing, they've got complete community buy-in. Complete community buy-in. And that's what it takes. You see the turnaround that happened over in Thomas County Central when Justin Rogers showed up on this. Remember when Bill Shaver was over there? He was a good not a wing T, but he was a good a veer offense type of guy. But in the last 2 to 3 years that he was there as a head coach, it didn't do very well. And so they got rid of him, hired Ashley Henderson. Ashley Henderson didn't really do very well over there. And then they hired Justin Rogers. So Justin Rogers goes over there, sells the administration on his program, his vision. Then all of a sudden, they've got a good coach with administration support, and he's sold the vision to the community. And now, because of all that, he's got these athletes that are just coming from all over. Well, I shouldn't characterize it that way. They're coming from all over Thomas County because I'm told that their numbers are off the chain now. Kids are just coming out of the woodwork to play for Justin Rogers and TCC, and they've had a few transfers from the Thomasville city schools over there. When those things are in place, Chase, there's no limit to what a program can do.
Yeah, and I agree. But here's what I want to point out is a program like TCC is going to be sustainable for some time because of the fact they have one middle school. Colquitt County is sustainable, and their program is sustainable across the board because they have one middle school.
No, wait. I'm going to give you some pushback there.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some pushback there. Lowndes has always had 3 middle schools.
Mm-hmm. We used to have only 2. It used to be only Lowndes Middle and Hay Howard.
Well, how long has Pine Grove been around? It's been around for quite a while. Pine Grove Middle?
About 15 years, maybe.
Okay. It's been around for a pretty good while. So my point is, you don't have to have, now that's why I'm going to push back. You don't have to have one middle school. That's just not workable for a school system like Lowndes.
But
my point is this: is the reason their program is sustainable is you don't have 3 coaching staffs with 3 different egos at 3 different middle schools trying to flex on each other, for lack of a better word. All right. So you've got one middle school program who's going to go flex on everybody else.
Well, you're talking about how the program is run. Jody Hewitt points out, he says Colquitt has 2, which he may be. I don't really know anything about Colquitt's middle school program.
They got one football program.
Well, he's saying 2, and he's a community coach that coaches at that level. So I'll let you guys discuss that. I'm not sure.
I don't know. We got out of that conference with Colquitt County this year. So
yeah. Yeah, now I'm not sure what you're talking about. Coaches with competing egos or anything. I mean, that is the director of football operation. That's falls under the helm of Adam Carter. I'm sure he's going to get that situation turned around.
Can I tell me, just to piggyback off what Chase said?
Yeah.
When you have that one school, right? You got these kids that come up from 6th grade on through 8th grade. So they're
Yeah.
playing with each other and they gel. So by the time they get to 9th grade, they know each other and they can play with each other. It's almost like if you ever go to the YMCA, you got these older 30, 40-year-old guys that can never be beat because they're not bigger, they're not faster, they're not stronger, but they know each other. And so, and they play complementary to each other, as opposed to the 5 youngsters that just come off the bench and they can't get it done. It's the same way with you when you have that one middle school, as to where, hey, they're coming all through this right here, through the same system. They understand each other's strength, each other's weakness. They don't even have to talk to each other because they know where they're going to be at.
All right, so let me give you the, now I don't want to bog down the entire program talking about the middle schools, but let me give you the flip side of that argument.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you address the fans that say it's an advantage to have multiple teams at the middle school level, because that is supposed to be a developmental level anyway? And so if you have 3 teams, you're developing 3 times the kids versus just one team.
But that only works if those middle school, those 3 different programs, 2 different programs are all teaching the same thing the same way. It only works that way.
Well, it just seems like Coach Carter just needs to get a handle of that program, and I'm sure he will. So I can't imagine middle schools running their own system that is different from the high school. Does that happen at Lowndes?
No, I
Okay.
mean, to an extent, I guess maybe. I really don't know, because I saw all 3 middle schools change a little bit what they were doing throughout the year. They started out the year, it looked a lot like what they were doing at Lowndes at the high school. Then as the year progressed, they made some changes because, let's face it, they're trying to win football games. So they changed a little bit, some little nuances that here and there changed a little bit of what they were doing. So it's not always going to mimic the high school 100%, but yes, that is the idea behind it, is they're supposed to mimic and teach what the high schools are doing. So yeah, that's generally what they try to do.
Yeah. So I'm told, man, you can tell it's fall. You got to start getting a tickle in your throat, that kind of stuff. So I'm told that Adam is spending a lot of his time now in the middle schools. I think he spends like 2 to 3 days a week now visiting with the middle school programs. So that is usually an indication, and I'm glad to hear it too. So that's usually an indication that he's getting a lot more involved in the middle school program. So that tells me 2 things. He is interested and going full speed ahead in building a feeder program for his system, right? Which also indicates that he's got every intention of staying here long term if he's getting involved in the middle school programs like that, which is contrary to some of the rumors that we are hearing in the community, right? I don't know who is spreading these rumors, but I'll just go ahead and let you guys in on it. I got called a couple of times over the last, I think 3 times over the last 2 weeks. Like, is Adam Carter leaving? Is he thinking about leaving? It's like, no, there's no indication that he's going
Not
anywhere.
at all.
So yeah, you guys just need to stop spreading that rumor if you keep hearing it, right? So, and this is a good indication. If he is indeed working in the middle schools, like I'm hearing that he is, then he's got every intention of staying longer term. So that's good, because Lowndes needs stability.
Yeah, he's been very active in the community too lately. I've seen him at several different sporting events for the middle schools and different things throughout. So yeah, he is definitely taking an interest in the athletes in this area.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
And that's, but he has to, because that's his foundation. The foundation is not the 9th grade or JV. It's in the middle school. Correct. He has to, and he has to establish a relationship with those young athletes while they're in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So by the time they get to 9th grade, they trust them, and then if they trust them, they'll play for them.
That's right. Mm-hmm. All right. So speaking of other teams, we talked about Colquitt and Valdosta. Let's talk about let's see how these other Region 1 7A teams did in the playoffs last week. So, there was some speculation, was Region 1 going to get swept in the first round? No. 3 out of 4 teams out of our region won their first round games. Richmond Hill is the only one that lost, and they lost a pretty close game to Grayson. They lost 34-24 in the first round. The other teams, Colquitt County beat Parkview pretty bad, 51-25. Valdosta defeated Archer pretty badly. I was kind of surprised at this score. I wasn't surprised they beat Archer, but I was surprised at the score, 41-16. Does that surprise either of you?
I listened to a little bit of the game, so no, not really.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, that they scored 41 points because they haven't been, like, throughout the year, they have been putting up big numbers. But the fact that they won, it don't surprise me because they got a good defense. And they got the fact that once it gets going, it's hard to stop. So, it don't surprise me. Don't surprise me at all.
Now, Camden County is the other team that won, and this was kind of a surprise. They defeated Newton 29-15. They basically just wore Newton down. Newton, by the middle of the fourth quarter, they had nothing left. They had chasing that ball all night long. Man, oh man. So anyway, that's how our 4 teams did. Colquitt, Valdosta, Camden advancing to the second round. Now, Colquitt will host Westlake, the Westlake Lions. Valdosta will go up and travel up to Carrollton to take on Juju Lewis and the Carrollton Trojans, and Camden County is going to travel up to McEachern to take on the Indians up there. Now, McEachern's pretty interesting because they have a newer coach as well. I think his name is Kareem Reed. And I don't know if you guys remember him, but he was the coach. He was the head coach of Griffin when Griffin came down to Lowndes a few years ago, a couple of years in a row, and gave us pretty good game. But so that dude knows how to coach football. Now he's the head guy at McEachern, and he is starting to turn that program around because, as you know, Franklin Stevens, the prior head coach, really didn't do very well up there in McEachern at Powder Springs. So good to see those guys turn it around. Now, it's going to be interesting to see this matchup. I'm kind of anticipating Valdosta at Carrollton. So Valdosta known to have a pretty good defense. Carrollton known to have an explosive offense with their all-world sophomore quarterback in Julian Lewis. What do you guys think? Does Valdosta have a shot?
They got a puncher's chance. I mean, I'll be honest. I think they got a puncher's chance just based on that defense.
So are you saying that under the right conditions, if you swing wildly every once in a while, you're going to connect and you hope to knock them out? Is that what you mean?
I think is about Valdosta's best hope is that they can ball control, keep the ball out of Juju's hands. That's going to be your saving grace. You're going to have to run the football with Live at 5 a ton, and just let him just eat up the clock and eat up yardage. And hopefully you can grind it into a grind-out style football game. Because if it turns into any type of a shootout, that definitely favors Juju in that offense.
So you think they're going to get any pressure on him? His offensive line has been keeping him upright all year long.
They better hope that they do, because if they don't, he may throw for 700 yards.
And he's a quarterback. His release is so quick. He doesn't need much time at all.
No, he really don't.
And his receivers really help him out by creating separation in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, but what that also has to do is they pretty much got to get the hands up. Don't give them clear passing lanes. Even if you don't, most quarterbacks don't like pressure up the middle.
Yeah.
Right? So if you get pressure up the middle, get in their face, even just a little bit, it could throw the timing off. And those defensive linemen have to get their hands up. And what Valdosta has to do on the offensive side is play mistake-free football. If they could do that, they have I'll give them a little bit more than a puncher's chance to win. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. And I've seen – now, here's one thing I say. I remember, and this is a long time ago, I'm about to call my age, but Valdosta played Southwest DeKalb, and Quincy Carter was the quarterback. And everybody said, Quincy Carter, if they don't stand a chance. And they end up beating Southwest DeKalb for the state championship that year. And it's the same pedigree that Juju has. Is what Quincy Carter has. So they were able to rally him. If they can do that, Juju, playoffs has a chance to win, but I highly doubt it. But they got a chance to win.
Now their defense has been pretty stout all year. So I don't know if Valdos's offense is got even enough firepower. No, because Greg Maddox, he's predicting a score of Carrollton 35-21. I don't know if Valdosta has enough firepower to score 3 times on Carrollton.
But
They do if they run the football.
Could be.
How's Carrollton's defense been this year?
They are here are the scores for their games this year. Now, their first game of the year, they lost. The only loss on the season. They lost to Powerhouse in 6A Langston Hughes. They lost 39-34. But ever since then, here are their scores: 49-0, 33-13, 50-0, 47-14, 49-0, 56-24. That was to East Coweta. We know a little bit about East Coweta. Pebblebrook 64-8, 31-7 over Westlake. Westlake is a really good 7A team. Campbell 63-7, Harrison 54-14. So they're probably averaging about they're probably averaging about 14 points a game if you average it all together.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough sledding.
Yeah, that's gonna be
So that's why I think Valdosta is going to have to play a very, very good game. I don't want to say in the world of high school football, you guys know the saying, any given Friday night, any team can win. And that still holds true, Valdosta against Carrollton. So I think Valdosta does have more than a puncher's chance, but they have to play a clean game. They can't have very many penalties. They can't shoot themselves in the foot. Every time they get in the red zone, they're going to have to put up 7 instead of 3 or turning it over. Right. So they're going to have to play their best game, and they're going to have to rely on Carrollton making mistakes as well. Yeah. So anyway, Jody, behave. Jody says, do they run the 3-3 stack? Jody? I'm not kidding. Nathan Lincoln. That's the first time I've seen that name in the White Oak Investment comment line. Nathan, welcome to the program, Nathan. He says Carrollton will win by 3 touchdowns, at least. Carrollton 49, Valdosta 13. Casey Harrell says, heck, we score 30 points against Colquitt. You never know. That's true. But listen.
Colquitt don't have it. Man, come on.
Colquitt's got an explosive offense, but their defense is gettable. Right?
Yeah.
That they are susceptible to, especially to the run. They are susceptible to the run. So you just never know. So there's a little wrinkle over there in Moultrie. Their starting quarterback, Nico Fan, got injured last week. Mm-hmm. And he was on crutches, using crutches on the sidelines. Now, I've been told that he is probable for the game. He's probably going to play. But I don't know the extent of his injury. So he gets hit one time. It could be lights out and second string comes out. You just never know with injuries like that. So that's the wild card going into that game. A healthy Nico Fan being the orchestrator of that, or the director of that orchestra on offense, they could score with anybody in the state. But a kind of a 50% or an even 75% Nico Fan, I don't know if that offense goes like it's supposed to.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think they got enough firepower. I think that the offensive line is stout enough to where whoever else comes in there, that they can kind of simplify it. I don't think the coaches probably have it in mind, and probably getting the number 2 guy a lot of those 1 reps. To keep some familiar, keep it similar to what Nico brings. They also probably tailor it down, and so I think they're going to be all right, regardless who plays. I think they got enough firepower to get past, to get through this week. Now, further on in the playoffs, that he's not healthy, they don't stand a chance. But this week, I don't think they need as much Nico Fan as.
Yeah, I think Sean Calhoun's a smart enough coach that, like Armand said, he's probably got his number two taking some number one reps this week, and
Yep.
they're gonna pick out things that he does really well, and they're gonna pick out things he doesn't do really well, and they're gonna kind of streamline it towards his strengths and away from his weaknesses to keep him comfortable. That way, if Nico doesn't play or if he's not 100% and he only plays just maybe the first half, and then you come in the second half, it's not that much of a change for the offense. He'll have some things that he likes to do with that quarterback.
That's right. Okay, so just to wrap up the playoff situation here, I want to cover another team, and that's Effingham County. Why am I bringing up Effingham County? Because right now they're scheduled to join our new region next year, Region 1-6A. Now, I've got a little bit more to say about that, so I might have to pull a Lee Corso not so fast type of moment there when it comes to Effingham County. But here's what they did. This is a pretty good football team. They're 7-4 on the year and 6-0 in their region, and they've beat some kind of notables. They beat Brunswick, both Brunswick and Glen Academy, which is kind of perennial. I guess powers is a good word for the classification that they're in. Now, most people that are Lowndes fans will recognize this name, David Shores. He is the defensive coordinator for Brunswick High School. And so we're familiar. We're pretty familiar with them. Brunswick has a pretty good team, and Effingham has beaten them and Glen Academy. Now, they were 6-0 in the region, but they lost in the first round to Lovejoy, which is usually a pretty good football team from the metro area. But they lost to them pretty bad in the first round, 47-14. So they're kind of a mystery team coming into the new region next year. But guys, here is the scuttlebutt. I haven't told you guys about this offline yet. Here's a scuttlebutt about Effingham County. They may not necessarily join our region. I'm hearing behind the scenes that they are basically kicking and screaming, trying whatever they can do to keep from joining our classification and our region, and because of isolation, that kind of stuff, right? And truth be told, it is a long way to Effingham County. That's like just north of Savannah. And so they're basically the closest team that they would have in the region is Richmond Hill, and that's it. Then they got that long drive to Camden, Valdosta, Lowndes, Colquitt would be the farthest drive for them, and Tift County. That is a long drive for a program like Effingham. So they are trying and hoping beyond hope to get out of this region and class. So I'm being told, and I'm hearing some scuttlebutt, that they're trying to get their Georgia's legislators involved to try to put pressure on the GHSA to allow them to go down in class. Now, so far, the GHSA has resisted. So that's why there's a little asterisk right next to Effingham County right now. We don't know for sure if they're going to join our region or not. But right now, we have to assume that they are, because they are scheduled to do so. And I'm going to actually show this. Nathan Lincoln says, I saw somewhere that GHSA voted and was denied changing regions for Effingham. That is true. Nathan, they did appeal last week and they were denied. But what I'm telling you is behind the scenes, they're still trying to hold out hope and getting, perhaps they're getting, I'm going to use that language, perhaps they're trying to get state legislators involved to put some pressure on the GHSA, because it's never done until it's done.
Maybe they should just call Cook County's attorney. I mean, I'm just saying.
True that. That was a good one right there.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, like, if they leave, if they don't join, that might be better for us, because I don't want to drive up 3 hours.
I'll be honest with you, Armand. I'm right there with you, man. I'm just not looking forward to driving up there, because in 1 year you're going to have to either drive to Richmond Hill or Camden County and Effingham, right? Yeah. So you'll have two of the three. You'll be over there, and then the other year you just have to take one trip over there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm gonna put this back up here, and this is these are the region assignments. that's been voted on and passed, and we're still waiting for the final appeals to be done, that kind of stuff. So it should be finalized probably by early December, mid-December, something like that, when all the appeals are over. Because I'm hearing that, even though they lost the appeals, there might be another avenue that they can take to allow the full executive committee to hear the appeal, right? So we'll just have to wait and see. So
Yeah.
here's the deal. Camden County, Colquitt, Effingham County, Lowndes, Richmond Hill, Tift County, and Valdosta. So currently, we've got 7 teams in the region. So that means 6 region games, 4 non-region games, right? I'm predicting right now that trying to think of the most tactful ways to say that. What does this program need more than anything right now? I'm going to throw this out there. What's that?
Our program?
Yes. What's our program need more than anything right now?
Well, we need to do more than compete, tell you that much. But we got
one letter. I'm just going to give me your answer in one letter. What does this program need more than anything right now?
a W.
W. We need W's.
I see one for sure. I see one sure win.
So out of those 4, potentially 5 non-region games, depending on what Effingham County does, I think we're going, this is just me predicting instead of having any type of insider information. No, that's just me predicting. Okay. So, I think the majority I think 75% of the teams, they're going to be guaranteed victories. When I say guaranteed, you know what I mean. The Hepzibahs of the world. I'm not saying I think that's your favorite team to side, Armand, right? Yeah. But it could be, it could be like teams like Luella, or, it won't be any Florida teams, I don't think. It'll be Georgia teams, but they're not going to be stout teams. You might have one in there that might be a decent team. And at this stage, can you blame it? Browns needs W's. And you got a pretty stout region schedule that's coming up, right? With potentially 6 region games.
Yeah, and I get that, but you're still you want to be a national brand. You want that's Lowndes' that's the program's ultimate goal, correct? I mean, that's where we all envision Lowndes being is let's be honest, the Grayson or the Beaufort of South Georgia, the Colquitt, right there with Colquitt County every year.
Chase, do you think we're ready for that?
Years away, but that's my point is you're not going to get there by throwing a bunch of cupcakes. I mean, we don't want to be like the Georgia Bulldogs and play UD Martin. I mean, come on, we want to play some real opponents.
Yeah, we want to be like Florida State and play North Alabama. Listen,
here we go.
We got 1 cupcake. Y'all had 8. Come on, bro.
Oh, now they all cupcakes. We'll get into that a little bit later. But listen, do we want the national brand? Yes, we do. We do want the national brand. But however, we gotta build confidence in our team, right? And
here's Armand. Here's what you're trying to say. Jody is saying it right now.
Yeah,
he says, I think national spotlight right now shouldn't even be a consideration.
Nah, we always consider it but you have to build it, right? You really do have to build it. We got new coaching staff, new philosophies. Chances are we're gonna have every team's a new team. So if we didn't play a national schedule or any national powerhouses, I'm perfectly fine with that. Maybe next year, the year after next, 25, we start stack loading the schedule. But
listen,
I'm okay with it.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna get me in trouble. 100% sure is gonna get me in trouble with some of our fan base. How do you think Randy McPherson racked up so many wins? He loaded his schedule in most years with cupcakes. Isn't that the truth?
Easy.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right.
How many times did we play the Hepzibahs and International School of Browards?
2007. How many states?
Do you remember that one year we beat Windsor Forest 87-0?
I was there. Yeah. I thought we were gonna score 100.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Randy was a legendary coach at Lowndes, won us 3 state championships, took us close to winning a few others, right? But right now, Lowndes needs W's. That's all I'm telling you.
But
we just need W's on the board.
But I would say this: like, try to schedule a Ware County, try to get Coffee County, maybe a Bainbridge. Try to schedule. I'm not saying we have to go schedule the America's High or Albany high schools, but schedule some familiar old foes to try to keep that rivalry going. And nobody will scoff at the fact that, hey, we played Ware County and Coffee County in the same year. Nobody.
Ware County back on the schedule.
Man, I would love to see Ware County, Coffee County, Thomas County Central. I would love to even see teams like Bainbridge. If you have to go get a Metro Atlanta team just to get some experience on the road, kind of do it what we did the last couple of years, get a couple of Metro schools and rotate them. One year you're up there, the other teams down here, and like we did with East Coweta and Grayson. Why not? Why not? You got to do more than shake your head. Why?
If you want to play somebody on the road, pick a Warner Robins or a Houston County. Play one of those schools. I would stay out of Metro Atlanta area just because if you're going to play Metro Atlanta, you might as well play Effingham.
Well, we may have to play Effingham. I'm just saying that the Metro teams, especially 7A teams, are pretty strong. I mean, East Coweta, pretty good program. Grayson, pretty good program. We do need to have some 7A teams in the non-region schedule. You know why?
Yeah, for the tiebreakers.
For the tiebreaker. That's usually a component of the tiebreaker if the first one isn't met.
What class is Hepzibah in again?
What's that?
What class is Hepzibah in again?
Hepzibah might be in 3 years.
Why don't Lowndes try to go pick on Madison?
No, Madison not afraid to play anyone. Now, Armand, here's your answer. Hepzibah will be in class 3 next year. Region 4, 3A.
Oh, wow. Okay. That won't work.
But anyway, we whatever it is, we got to get it figured out. I'm sure the plans are in place now of getting things turned around. I'm hoping that it's just a blip on the radar, just a down year coming off a rough transition from last year. Right. So anyway, I'm pretty hopeful.
Also, let me say this too. Like, the reason why I would say get a Ware or Douglas or any of those teams that within like an hour or two is because they travel and they'll pack the visitor side.
Yeah.
Us playing these teams from Maryland and Kalamazoo, nobody comes. They have eight. They have a 12-member band and 35 parents that showed up. Let's pack the stands, and financially you stand to gain a lot more. If you ask me, that's why I would do it. So
now Jody's throwing a teaser out there, so I'm not sure what he's referring to. He says, LG, y'all haven't heard. Now it just depends on what you're talking about. If you're referring to the OC, yeah, we've heard. If you're referring to something different, I'm not sure. Travis Hart says, schedule Etowah or Cherokee. Okay. I don't know very much about those teams, but if they're good, they're good. Okay. So anyway, so that's my prediction. I think we're going to load up our non-region schedule with teams that I don't want to say guarantee a victory, but give us a really, really good shot at getting a W on the board. Because I'm telling you, outside of because there's with every football program, including Lowndes, right? There are 3 types of fans. There are the hardcore fans, like you and me, right? There are the bandwagon fans that they don't really have a team, but when a team's winning, they just jump on board, right? And then there's the casual fan that's somewhere in the middle. Most, like I'm gonna speak truth here. Most of our fan base are casual fans. The casual fan's not tuning into a show like this every Thursday night. They'll check us out every once in a while, maybe during a big week like against Colquitt or Valdosta, right? So out of 7,000 season tickets or 10,000 fans that we can pack in on a stadium against Valdosta or Colquitt, right? Out of during football season, we probably capture about 3,000 to 5,000 fans that will watch this show during the season. Now, during the non-season or off-season, that number will fall down to 1,000 to 2,000 per week that watch the show. So there's 3,000 to 5,000 fans in there that are just casual fans. And those are the ones that the program is going to appeal to the most next year with scheduling W's. And because those are the ones that are making the most noise right now. They don't really care about the feeder program. They don't care about who the assistant coaches are like we do, right? They don't care about all this stuff. What do they care about? The scoreboard and how many W's you got.
Exactly.
That's what they care about.
And also, by kind of scheduling light or quote unquote cupcakes, you also get to build your freshmen and sophomores. You get to get them on the field and get them used to playing under the big lights. So there's pros and cons to it, but whatever it is, I'm gonna be there Friday night. I already gonna renew my season ticket, so I ain't even worried about it. No matter who we play. Lions by 50.
Lions by 50. I love it. That's going to be our new T-shirt next year. Lions by 50. All right. So last topic on Lounge tonight before we transition into the college football talk is this. If I had to poll just you two, and it's just us sitting at a restaurant, let's say the Wood Nickel Pub. Free shout out to the Wood Nickel. So we're sitting there around a table and we're just talking football. And I threw this question out to you guys. I'm interested to see what you would say. And here's the question. What are the traditions that Lowndes football is known for?
The traditions?
What traditions? What do you think of? It doesn't matter if it's related to the band, the stadium, the team, whatever. You know what traditions are when it comes to football teams. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If I asked you what are traditions of surrounding Alabama football, some people would say, well, they're going to wear traditional uniforms, right? That crimson on white. Same thing with Michigan. Same thing with Penn State. You just know that's their brand. That's their tradition. If you think of Ole Miss, what do you think of? The Grove. That's a tradition of theirs, and hotty toddy and their pregame rituals and things like that. So now that you know what I'm talking about, what are the traditions? What is Lowndes football known for? Is it the Georgia Bridgeman? Is it
Silver bullets?
It's what now?
For years, it was them silver helmets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The silver leads, the concrete crazies. What else? The Bridgeman. It is. Them just Smiley at the door. Smiley at.
I was not expecting that answer.
Yes.
Yep. Letting them out. Smiley let.
Okay.
Let the Vikings loose. Smiley at the door.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. So other things that are. Is anything else come to mind when you think of Lowndes football? Armand, when you played for Milt, right?
Yes, sir.
When you played for Milt Miller, what were the Lowndes Vikings known for in your day?
In my day, early was known for losing, but
known for losing.
Yeah, but our thing was defense, being tough. 4 quarters, hit you in the mouth, and we're gonna find a way to win. And then later on, you started seeing the concrete crazies. They didn't have a name then.
Okay.
Everybody started to buy in, and now it's kind of transformed into the traditions that you see today. Whether it's the cowbells that you hear in the stands, or the penny jugs, or running out, in between the bridgemen. It's almost like when they open that door and the smoke goes off, and you see them Vikings run through that, whatever thing the cheerleaders have put up. Now it's a big Viking flag. That's what it is. That's the tradition. That's what If you ask me anything about it, it's that running through that door. Let Smiley open that door, run through the smoke, and let's get it on.
Okay. I'm glad y'all agree on defense. And I would extend that to physicality.
Yeah.
Right. When you can't, a lot of teams, even if they won the game, they knew they were going to be beat to death. Right. It was going to be probably the most physical game that they've had all year long, win or lose. Right.
Yeah.
So Lowndes was known for Jerry Safford, nail on the hammer on top of the, just boom, just he got it. Smash mouth football. Right. That is defined as a tough as nails defense. You might be able to take the top of it, but you sure as hell ain't going to run through our line. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So physicality, defense, smash mouth football, running the ball, just challenging your manhood, that kind of stuff. Right. Now, as hardcore Lowndes fans, we just wanted to introduce the passing game to that to complement the running game. Right. But what have we not had over the last 4 years? Whether it's Adam Carter this year, Zach Grage last year, and Jamie DuBose's 2 years. We can't brag on a defense. We can't. That's the truth.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I agree.
Jamie DuBose won a lot of games, but he had to outscore everybody. And he did. Remember Chase Belcher and Ja'Cory Brown? They outscored everybody. And you had the explosive offense to do it. But in 4 straight years now, we have not had a shutdown, lockdown, concrete curtain type of defense. I think that's the number one priority during the offseason. Fix your defense.
Can I throw something out there just a minute? And this is just thinking back.
Hey, this is an opinion-based show, man. Throw it.
Look, we're also known as what?
Plowboys.
What is the Plowboys? Okay. Do either one of y'all know the history behind that name? I'm sure Armand does.
Yeah, Valdosta used to try to make fun of us, and we kind of adopted that. And Randy Mack, to his credit, basically embraced that principle of hard-nosed, blue-collar, lunch pail type of workers. He actually had a term for them. He called them company men. That's what he called his players, company men, right? The blue-collar, lunch pail type of workers. That's what we're missing, in my opinion. That's what we're missing.
The grinders, the guys that are living in that weight room all summer long by position group. Armand knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
By position group, your linemen need to be working out differently than your wide receivers do. Your defensive linemen need to be working out differently than your secondary does.
Yep.
They all don't need to be doing the same exact thing week in and week out.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be realistic. Look at the Mayflower Moving Company that used to be at Lowndes. If I played on the defensive line, nope, coach. I ain't doing that. Them boys were massive.
Travis Hart says, I have friends from Atlanta that's played against Lowndes and said they hated playing Lowndes because of how hard Lowndes' defense hit. They would just hit you.
Yeah, dude. Because when I played, we had this thing called the boneyard.
Yeah.
Fix your line of scrimmage in the boneyard.
Okay.
You got one-on-ones, defensive linemen, offensive linemen. You bring the linebackers in there because you just got to get dirty. The boneyard, Tuesdays. Georgia calls it Bloody Tuesdays. It was the boneyard for us every Tuesday in the boneyard. Come get you some. That'll put some hair on your chest, or it'll make you quit, or turn into a basketball player real fast.
Yeah.
Bring back the boneyard. Fix the line of scrimmage. If you fix the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, everything else falls into place.
You got a point there. Now, I hope that fixing the line of scrimmage doesn't mean we go back to the wing tee. I hope that's not what that means. But anyway, that's one of the rumors that's circulating out there. All right. So let's transition. I've been hyping this thing up. Let's transition into college talk. Okay,
You better
so
be ready because I'm gonna give it back to you with shipping and handling.
the college football rankings came out last night. Now, there was a big debate on who number 4 was going to be. And Chase, your Seminoles, for at least one more week, claims that top 4 spot. So you got Florida State, number 4. Now, closely behind them is Washington. Number 3 is Michigan, Ohio State. And number 1, shout out to Armand, your Georgia Bulldogs. There you go. There you go.
Man,
Hey, Chase, just between us, man.
What?
Just between us. Who's that coming down the track? A mean machine in red and black. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. So Chase, tell me why your Seminoles belong in the top 4. I know you're undefeated, but you've had several close games this year, some near misses.
Okay, we've had several close games. I'll give you that. Secondary in the FBS by completion percentage. We have the lowest completion percentage against our secondary, period.
Okay.
By stats, we're I think at 43% is all you're going to complete against us.
Okay.
Across the board. And we've faced some good quarterbacks. We've got bookend defensive ends, and we've got an offense that when it wants to can score pretty much at will because I don't care who you are, you don't have enough secondary or enough safeties to cover all the weapons we got.
Okay.
I mean, just the fact of the matter is FSU's been down for so long, we just kind of snuck up on everybody. Nobody saw us coming.
All right, man. I'm going to put you on a clock. Okay. So I didn't tell you two about this. So anyway, I'm going to have to get you to defend your position. Okay. So just so you know what I'm talking about, I actually have a clock.
Wow.
All right. So here's how we're going to do this thing. I need you to tell me in 3 minutes, how you guys why you guys deserve to be in the top 4 when you had a near miss against Boston College 31-29, a near miss the next week against Clemson 31-24, and a near miss last week against Miami 27-20.
Rivalry game, you're going to get their best shot year in and year out, plain and simple. That is a hatred game between those two. Clemson, let's face it, they've been a perennial powerhouse for years now. They just happen to be on a down year. And you're in Death Valley. So that's going to be a game. It's going to be a tough game, no matter if Clemson's on a down year or not. The Boston College game, that was their red bandana game or whatever they call it. Thomas Castellanos is a mobile quarterback. I believe he played at Ware County. Shout out to Ware County. He was absolutely electrifying in that game. He did some really, really nice things. Still didn't complete a whole lot of his passes, but he ran for a mile. Now, we've struggled against running quarterbacks, and guess what? None of the top 3 outside of us have a running quarterback. So, FSU has done exactly what they needed to do to be here. All right. Washington has had to shoot out and outscore everybody. I believe Washington is going to take care of itself this weekend when they lose to Oregon State. And look, we're a blue blood. I mean, plain and simple. We're like the Duke or the North Carolina of college basketball. I mean, it is what it is. We've done our job. We've ran the table so far. Show me a better deserving team.
You done? You done?
That long.
All right, but you didn't need a full 3 minutes. All right.
I don't need a full 3 minutes.
All right. So
I'm like Harvey Specter from Suits, man. When you want it, you call in the best. I'm the best.
So Armand, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to rebut what he just said.
All right. First off, let me just say this. I probably have Washington ranked higher. I probably flip Washington and Florida State. However, I don't think you're wrong no matter how you put those two, either at 4 or 5. My issue with Florida State is why I can't push them any higher is because of those close games against Boston College and the fact that you life and death against Miami and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is horrible this year. Pittsburgh is one of the worst teams in the Power Five, and Florida State, they seem to play down to their opponent, right? Now, I give them credit for the LSU victory, but LSU's defense has shown up to be exactly what it is. It's very hit or miss. Actually, probably non-existent for most of the year. Florida State, they will go as far as their defense allows them, because that defense, I can't. You give up 29 to Boston College. And Boston College is horrible. They're not a good team. That's what. But
But you forget, Armand, they do have a very challenging next couple of weeks in North Alabama and Florida.
Yeah, I think North Alabama.
I want to talk about what the SEC is playing this week, so I don't want to hear that.
We play Tennessee, but North Alabama probably has a better chance to win than Florida. That's what I'll say.
That's funny, right? All right, Armand, it's your turn.
Coaches don't know what they're doing. Those Sunbelt Billy Napier down there don't have a clue. But I digress. My dogs. Look,
hold up. I'm gonna give you the same treatment.
Okay.
That cornbread got there. Okay, so listen, you've heard the knocks on Georgia all year this year, right? They've been playing well lately, but they hadn't had the strongest schedule. I'm a dog fan, but we got to recognize. So you start out with UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina's in the SEC, but they're not very good. And you were trailing at South Carolina at halftime, 14-3. Then you went to UAB. You beat a very hapless and struggled against a hapless Auburn team. And then that's when your schedule got a little bit thicker, right? So why does Georgia deserve to be in the top four?
Well, first off, it's back-to-back national champion. That's just what we are. You have to say it, whether you like it or hate it. That's what we are. Georgia is the most complete team. And I think Georgia is actually trending the way you want your team to trend. They're playing their best football as of right now. As far as the schedule, we couldn't help it that Oklahoma decided to join the best conference in the world, and that game got canceled. We can help it. They didn't want to lose us twice. That's all it was. They didn't want to lose us this year and next year. So we can help that. The schedule is what it is. But the schedule also allowed Georgia to do what it needed to do, to introduce those new players, get them acclimated to what it's like actually being a starter on the field. And what you see is Georgia peaking. They're playing their best game right now. And you see what they did to Kentucky. You see what they did to Missouri. You see what they did last week. Who we played last week? I forgot. Let's see. Who did we play last week? Ole Miss. Yeah. The lane train derailed. And now we're about to go up there to Knoxville and go ahead and push Josh Happ out the door. And yeah, go Dogs. Number one, back to back. That's what it's about to be, national champions.
All right, Chase. I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to rebut if you wish to.
I'll give it to you. In the words of Ric Flair, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And let's face it, y'all haven't been beat yet. Okay, I'll give y'all that. Until you can be knocked off from that number one spot, you're the last year's defending national champion, and you deserve to be there. I've always argued that point in college football. All right. So outside of Ohio State being a media darling, I don't think they have any business being in the top four, period. Okay. I think they play, for the most part, outside of playing Penn State and Michigan, they play pretty much a weak schedule. I mean, an extremely weak schedule. And let's face it, their offense is not that impressive this year. Neither is their defense. I mean, they're finding ways to win, but they're just not really impressive. Nothing about them outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. jumps off the screen at you.
Those are fighting words with David Behringer. He's a Buckeye through and through.
Ain't nobody studying no Buckeye fan. They'll
jump
off the ship as soon as the media quits following them.
All right, so both of you make some pretty good points. I want to hone in on something. Every team It doesn't matter if it's the NFL, if it does, well, I shouldn't say the NFL. That's a different animal. Especially college. Every program plays cupcakes, right?
Yep.
For various reasons. If you take a look at every schedule across the D1 landscape, you see there's cupcakes outside of the conference games, right? Georgia just had a very front-loaded cupcake schedule this year. If you take a look at Alabama's schedules, they've got just about as many cupcakes, but they kind of disperse them throughout their year. Same thing with Florida State. Georgia's was front-loaded. You guys, you got a back-loaded one with what North Alabama, right? And you could argue Florida as well, but so that's why I say that, you know, having some cupcakes on the schedule next year for Lowndes is not necessarily a bad thing, especially when you find yourself 2 years in a row struggling for wins. You got to figure out how to win again. You got to have that feeling, right? What does the Righteous Brothers say? Bring back that loving feeling. We got to bring back that W feeling.
I agree, but I think there's some drastic changes needed to get Lowndes back on the W train. Just, I mean, I ain't going to elaborate on it. I'm not going to get into all that. That's just, I just think there needs to be some changes as far as the way we play.
I'm sure it's coming.
As bad as I hate to point out the fact that, you know, there's a lot of our fans who are right. Lowndes lost that ability to just knock fear into people.
Yeah.
And it needs to come back. We've got plenty of offensive weapons. Everybody knows we got Jalen Carter, we got Aiden Sifa, we got what's his name? Ethan Jackson. We got several offensive weapons. Road Dog's coming back. So you've got weapons there, man. We just got to figure out how to get the ball in their hands. Defensively, there's athletes all over that defense, and there's some young ones coming up behind them. Tyler Parker being one of them. I think that kid's a future star at Lowndes. He's only a sophomore. He got bit by the injury bug a little bit this year, but when he was on the field, he was a difference maker, man. He'll smack you. That kid's old school. He's like his brother, man. He will lay the wood on you. So I mean, it takes time, but I think it starts in the weight room, and I think it's built during the summer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, they have to realize, I think the message that needs to be sent to these players is that they inherited what Lowndes is. They didn't build it. They inherited. And it's up to them to keep the tradition going. It's in their hands. They didn't build it. It's theirs. They didn't build it. They inherited it. And so they need to treasure it and make sure that they know this is precious. It's not a right. It's something that you earn. When you put that crimson and white on, it's earned. And that's what they got to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, there's it's fine to talk about legacy and tradition, that kind of stuff. I like Kirby Smart's approach with his Georgia team when he starts a new season, right? He told his team this year going into spring, it's like everybody's calling you guys back-to-back champions. This team right here hadn't won a single championship yet. The two previous teams, they're national champions, but this team, they haven't won anything. You got to go earn what you get.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about that.
I like that mentality, honestly. But here's something I want to challenge to all the players that are listening and parents that are parents of players who are in that program right now. We have got to get back to a program that's accountable and players that are accountable to each other. There's a lot of finger pointing that goes on sometimes. Well, you didn't do this, so I shouldn't have to do this, or it's your fault that this is that. No, you need to be holding each other accountable in the weight room. Did you do what you were supposed to do in the weight room? Did you do what you were supposed to do in the classroom? Did you do what you were supposed to do during the week, all week, to prepare for Friday night, to prepare for the season? You should have somebody who's accountable that you have to basically meet up, especially during the off season. Friday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, have a cookout with the players and the coaches, whoever your accountability partner is, you go through it. Did you excel this week? Did you push beyond what you said you were going to do this week? Get up and hold your partner accountable. And when you start holding each other accountable inside that program, I promise you that program, you'll see it change overnight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So in short, I would just say, I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper.
You guys are preaching now.
That's the mentality that they have to adapt. I am my brother's keeper. That should be the slogan. Put that on the shirt, Coach Carter, if you listen to me.
I saw a video clip this week of highlights of the Georgia South Carolina game, and Georgia was down 14-3 at halftime. Now, there's video cameras, that kind of stuff, that's capturing footage of Kirby talking to the team and challenging the team. Glenn Schumann, the DC, is challenging the team. Mike Bobo, the OC, is talking to his staff and the offense. But you know who was leading the way? Georgia players.
Mm-hmm.
You had seniors and juniors that was addressing the entire team, that basically told them to get off their butts. Right?
Yeah.
That coaches can only coach so much, and it's up to players to go out there and execute. And I was so impressed by that team leadership that you saw from these student athletes. And man, I'm just waiting for that to happen at Lowndes. So you had guys like Trey Jackson, very vocal, leader of that defense. You had guys like Ja'Cory Brown. You had guys like Michael Barrett, right? We just need someone to step up. A group of seniors coming up in 2024, starting with the 2024 season. We need a group of seniors to lead like they've never left before, because football is an emotional sport that is executed one play at a time. But when things go sideways, and they always go sideways, right? You need a vocal leader, a general on that field, whether it's one on defense, one on offense, multiple players, whatever. You need someone to be very, very vocal to get their players fired up again. You can't just rely on coaches to do that.
Exactly.
All right, guys, as we wrap things up here, predictions. Florida State, North Alabama. All right. We're going to there. Georgia and Tennessee.
Georgia 35, Tennessee 17.
35-17. What you think, Chase?
Georgia wins. It's going to be 28-21.
Oh, you think it's one score? I think the line is like 8.5.
Yeah, I think it's a one-score game.
Okay.
If Tennessee gets to rolling against y'all might be in trouble.
Okay.
Because let's face it, I mean, Tennessee, they can play. They can shock you. And if they shock you, they tend to finish the task.
But I think we got that gimmick offense figured out. So
if we can handle University of Tennessee Martin 48-7, I think we can handle University of Tennessee Knoxville. That's all I'm saying.
I got one thing to say before we run out of time.
Go ahead,
if you don't mind. And I
got to do it quick.
I have to say this, Coach Carter. I want to say thank you for getting these boys these looks, all these scholarship offers. Thank you for that. That's a change that's happened because these kids are good and they deserve to go play at the next level. So, Coach Carter, I want to say thank you for that.
Hear, 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 hear.
Amen. And the Coach Carter, thank you. I agree, getting these kids looks, but also big shout out to Coach Mitchell, our recruiting coordinator, for what he does getting these guys looks. If you see Coach Mitchell out, I promise you, walk up and talk to him. He is a joy to talk to. That dude is a barrel of energy. I love having conversations. Love it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to another great edition of the Viking Nation Live. We are probably not going to have a show next week because it's Thanksgiving. next week, right? On Thursday night. That's our show night. So if we do have a show, it's probably going to be on Wednesday night. I'm not going to ask you to join for that, but we probably won't. I'm just going to give you fair warning. We're probably going to take some time to enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday spent with our families. But with that said, guys, enjoy next week. Enjoy the holiday season that we're entering in. Be thankful for what we have. And I'm thankful for our football program and the coaches and players that we have. So with that said, may God bless you guys. And as always, go Vikings.
Go Vikings.